So firstly, I want to thank organizer, and especially my quite a long time, so my friend. So when I talk to people, public talk, or older people or younger people, like students, I always make clear I'm talking to another human brothers, sisters, and myself, another human being. We actually same human being. Mentally, emotionally, physically. Just yesterday, when I arrived hotel, some group, I think student, welcoming me. So I expressed, some of their face looks like Tibetan. So we seem to see physically, even physically, much sort of
resemble. Resemble.
Like that. So please, you think me as another human brother. I also consider you another human, like some cases, elder brothers, sisters, or younger brothers, sisters. Everyone has sort of common desire or same desire to achieve happy life. Days and nights, we always want happy. It is our basic right. I often see telling the very purpose of our life for happiness, for joyfulness. Reason our life depends on hope. Our existence, our survival depends on hope. Someone completely lost hope, then that very sort of mental attitude shortened their life. So hope means something good. So therefore, very purpose of our life, we can say happy life. Joyfulness or happiness not necessarily take just physical pleasure or these things. Sometimes even physical level, some suffering, some pain can bring tremendous satisfaction on mental level. So when I say happiness, mainly is to refer satisfaction.
No.
So satisfaction brings us inner peace. So now here, we have this human physical with 5 sense of organs. A certain level of satisfaction, joyfulness, mainly is to come through these sensorial level of experience.
Yes.
Then another mental level, satisfaction, or tremendous sort of joyfulness at mental level. So everybody, you see, can examine in our daily life You see, we are experiencing two levels. One level, sensorial level. One level, mental level. So between these two, the mental level experience is much more superior, effective.
Yes.
Reason, as I mentioned earlier, physical level sort of painful experience brings mental level tremendous satisfaction. Or physical illness can subdue by mental peace. Mental disturbances almost impossible subdue by physical,
physical
happy experience.
No. No.
Physical level happiness or comfortable cannot sort of subdue mental level of suffering. So therefore, obviously, we have to think more seriously about mental level experiences. Physical level or senses of organs level, our experience and animal experience more or less same. But big differences, mental level experiences, there's big differences. Because our brain, much more sort of ability, thinking about future, remember about past. So, and because of more sophisticated sort of brain, we also have the much more sort of capacity to create visions. That brings hopes. That also creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of sort of anguish.
Anguish.
Someday.
Sorry, anguish, mental anguish.
Mental anguish, like that. So now here, I believe this marvelous sort of brain, eventually we human being develop education and language, script. So I believe the very purpose of education is reduce the gap, reality and appearances. Now, as far as material thing is concerned, modern scientists highly developed. You see, through research, through experiment. Now we gain, I think, more fuller knowledge about the reality in matters field. At mental level, emotional level, modern education, it seems, you see, not adequate.
That is not adequate.
Because, you see, up to now, modern science mainly focusing, pay attention about matters. But subject side experience, you see, the scientific sort of way of research, so far, not much developed. So now, problem here today, global level, or national level, or even family level. I think some problems, which is of course problem, which sort of due to because of the poverty,
Yes.
disease, all these, of course, we have to take care. But mental level sort of frustration, anxiety, too much stress. Now here, I think too much sort of mental sort of unrest, some kind of disturbances, too much there. Usually you see many people, you see relying on what you call tranquilizer.
No.
One time in America, I think several years ago, one day, long drive from one place to another place. And at lunchtime, we stopped one big house, I think one private sort of house, home.
No.
We got a very good lunch. And after lunch, I always used to take care of my teeth. So I went bathroom and take care of my brushing my teeth like that.
Yes.
Then in front of the sort of basins are there?
No.
Don't you see?
Basin, no.
Basin. One box,
Medicine cabinet.
a little open. Then, out of my curiosity, I think without permission of that person, I opened. There I found tranquilizer. So then I felt, oh, that family, of course, material level, everything there. Very wealthy family. But that family member also is in need some tranquilizer. That indicates, you see, there are sort of mental sort of problem, mental worry. There's no other way to cure but except external means, taking some medicine or alcohol. Recent years, there's some famous sort of people, really, I think millions of people love, respect, but they themselves, too much trouble, alcohol, right?
No.
Or drugs, like that. This clearly shows in our education, fail to bring, reduce gap reality and appearance. Appearances, we feel, oh, good facilities, good money, lot of money,
Lot of money.
Rich, power. Appears, oh, these are the ultimate source of happiness or joyfulness. But reality, not. Of course, some uncomfortable due to lack of material facility. Yes, make effort, spend more money and earning more money. Yes, we can reduce that. But mental level experience, you cannot do that. So we must look deeper way about mental sort of today, mental world, its own function. I think among emotions or thoughts, the real destroyer of our inner peace is fear, distrust. Then, of course, distrust there, eventually fear develop. Fear develop frustration. Frustration develop anger. Anger brings violence. I think at national level, or even family level, whenever we face some problems, we often rely using force. So that's the reality, totally wrong. Apparently where?
Appearance.
Appearance, yes. use force, solve that problem. You win, right?
No.
And destroy other. Reality, no. Through non-violent way, if you can change the negative person's sort of mental attitude, that's a real victory. Using force, the negative feeling, others' mind increasing. Of course, there are, in case some disagreement, different sort of say, interest,
Yes.
you can talk. Listen. Their view, with respect, they are right. And consider, they're also part of humanity. They also, basically, it's the same human being. They also have the same right. Through that way, we can change the others' sort of mental thinking.
Yes.
So, in any way, education, suppose we should reduce the gap, appearance, and reality. So, I'm trying to talk according to my own experience. Of course, in my experience, of course, the practice of Buddhism also is there, but I'm not touching that part. Right?
Right.
I'm talking just for human level. So usually I describe human level, more realistic way to tackle our mental sort of discomfort, right?
No.
Mental problem.
Yes.
Through, more awareness about the system of the emotion, system of the mind. So that I always describe secular way to promote ethics. Ethics, of course, still, I'm not very clear. I asked some people, what is the real meaning according to Latin?
Yes.
Ethics. So some connection with because of the God or spirituality, I don't know. Still, I'm also here, I think some I think professors, I think English professors here. I think, I think you know better. Because, some of my friends, they really feel any sort of moral ethics must be based on religious faith. So there must be some reasons. Some of my Muslim friends, as well as some Christian friends, they're rather sort of reserved
No.
because of that. They're not happy when I use the word of secular ethics, secularism. But according to Indian sort of that,
Constitution.
constitution or in Indian thought, the secularism not at all negative towards religion or disrespect any religion, but rather respect all religions and also including respect non-believers. This also, you see, not created in modern India, but 3,000, 2,000, 3,000 years old, secularism, respect, including non-believer. So that's according to Indian sort of the concept. So India's own constitution based on secularism. So the secular ethics, I mean, based on our common experience, common sense, and now important is latest scientific finding. Number of cases, I think top scientists, now they begin to feel for physical health, mental peace, inner peace is very essential. Then also, you see, your brain, according to them, the left side brain is more active. This side, the person becomes more calm, happier. Like thinking more compassion, or person who more experience about compassion, genuine compassion, then this side of the brain more active.
More active. More active.
Or anger, hatred, this side more active. So now quite a number of scientists, now they show more interest about proper mental development or mental training. So, on the basis of our common experience, common sense, and scientific finding, through that way, we can make awareness, more awareness about the ultimate source of happiness within ourselves. The emotion, as I mentioned earlier, fear, more self-confidence, not blind self-confidence, but self-confidence combined with sense of concern of others' well-being, more intelligence sort of thinking, more holistic thinking. Through that way, develop self-confidence. That, another word, inner strength. That reduces fear. More sort of sense of respect, sense of concern of others' well-being, including your own enemy. Enemy also human being, generally speaking, like for example in human case, your human enemy also human being. They also have every right to achieve happy life, to overcome problems. So thinking that line, there is possibility. We have the ability to develop genuine sense of concern of their well-being. Once that kind of mental attitude is developed, then no basis of hatred, no basis of anger. So, but you see, the respect of your enemy, or keep loving kindness towards your enemy, does not mean you bow down to it.
Yes, you submit.
You submit. No. As far as the action is concerned, in case unjust action by some people, then you have to take countermeasure to counter that sort of wrong action, unjust action, right?
Yes.
But with respect, with genuine concern of their own long-term interest, right? Long-term future interest. If they carry wrongdoing, successful today, they will carry more. Ultimately, they will suffer. So thinking that line, out of sense of concern of their own future, and take appropriate measures to stop their wrongdoing. So that's compassionate action. Not come from hatred or anger or jealousy. So therefore, some people, you see too much of a compassionate attitude, then you may lose. That's wrong. Keep compassion. Now, compassion, actually, you see, there are two levels. One level of compassion, just a biological factor. That's limited, biased. That's mainly oriented others' attitude, others' action.
Yes.
But another level of compassion, through training, through reasoning, through awareness, that kind of compassion, not oriented their attitude,
Yes.
but the people, the person, right?
Yes.
The person or human being
Yeah.
itself. So no matter what their attitude. So long, they are human beings. They have every right to work on suffering. So, on that awareness, you can develop sense of concern. So therefore, according to my own experience, it's thinking this line. When you passing through difficult period, and some people criticize you, it don't disturb your mental sort of peace. Yes, occasionally you may take appropriate sort of
Actions.
action, but deep inside, peaceful. So my point, the awareness, the value of these inner sort of positive sort of emotion or positive sort of thought, love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, these things. Not through prayer, not through meditation, but through analyze, through education, through awareness. So that I call education, not only for brain, but also for
Heart.
warm heart, heartiness, warm-heartedness. So many places in America, and also in India, and also Europe, I often discussing about that with many educationists, many scientists. I think, frankly speaking, quite few with spiritual leaders.
No.
Mainly it's those scientists, those medical scientists and brain scientists, and then social workers like that. That's important. Actually, about 7 billion human beings. I think a major portion, if not a major portion, but at least it's a quite a big portion, are essentially non-believer. They may say they are following this religion, that religion, but they're more like tradition, more like sort of habit.
No. Yeah, just out of habit. People say, I belong to this or that religion,
And Christian, the Sunday church, attend, Muslim, mosque, few moments, close eye, looks very serious, sort of what's today about religion. But outside, nothing. Your real daily life carry, then cheating, bully, lying, exploiting. So these people essentially not religious sort of practitioner, not religious minded. Right.
Nothing.
I often used to telling my Indian friend, Indian people, of course, I usually used to describe myself as a son of India. Reason, about I think 3 years ago, some overseas Chinese media people, I think about 10, 15, and one Chinese media person, asked me, why you describe yourself as a son of India? I think he thought that this is something political motivation.
Yes.
Political.
Political statement.
Then I told, look, my brain, every particle of my brain filled by Nalanda thought. That's ancient Indian thought. Since my childhood, I study all those texts which I learned even by heart, 6, 7 years old since then, all wrote by Nalanda masters. These reflection of ancient Indian thought.
Yes.
And then my physical, about 3 years ago, I told, this physical last 50 years survived by Indian rice, Indian dals.
Indian lentil soups.
Ah,
No, dal the lentil. No.
Indian chapati, Indian sort of special sort of bread.
No, no.
So I told, that's the reason I discover myself as a son of India. Then it seems to see that person understands. Seems to see he understands. Now, this is not a political sort of
Statement.
reasons like that. So I respect India. I love India. Meantime, I also, you see, telling my Indian people, generally, very religious-minded. Every home, every Indian home, some statue of God and goddesses. And every morning, they pray with incense and flower. But meantime, there are a lot of wrongdoings, corruptions. So I'm telling to my Indian friend, there's only two ways, two choices. Either accept religion, God, and follow honest way, truthful. Or forget God. Think money, worship money, and whatever way, in order to gain money, follow. There's no third way. So like that. Even among Buddhists, among Tibetan Buddhists, also you see there are corrupted sort of people there. So formally they are religious believer, but essentially, I don't think they are genuine believer. So therefore, quite a major portion of 7 billion human beings, I think, essentially non-believer. So generally, you see, public level, you see, some people feel these inner value, love, compassion, forgiveness. Then people consider these are part of religious practice. So therefore, those people who have no interest about religion, then they also, you see, no interest about these values. That is wrong. Whether you accept religion or not, that's up to individual. If you prefer remain non-believer, absolutely right. They are right. But since they are human beings, part of the humanity, basic human nature is a social animal. Money, power alone cannot sort of bring together human beings. Emotional level, the sense of taking care, sense of concern of others' well-being, that mental attitude alone brings together. That's why social animal. Each individual's future entirely depends on the rest of the community. No matter how powerful one single person, but their future entirely depends on the community. On the community. Now today, global economy, in that level, and also environment issue. Now world become just one entity. East depend west, west depend east, southern depend north, north depend south. That's the reality. We're just a big human family. So that's the reality. But apparently, different continent, different country, different religious believer, these are secondary. So therefore, to those non-believer, also you see, have to also develop awareness, these inner values.
Yes.
So that, wherever I go, I always talk that. I have 3 commitments. Number 1 commitment, promotion of non-violence, promotion of peace. Non-violence, peace, you see, ultimately depend on motivation. Not physical action, verbal action, but mental attitude. mental level, genuine peaceful, compassionate mental thinking. It's a really peaceful mind. With that motivation, verbal action, physical action, no matter what appearances, essentially non-violence. Motivation level, negative, want to cheat, want to exploit, want to deceive.
Yes.
Then physical action, verbal action may be very nice, but essentially violence. So therefore, when we make effort promoting non-violence, we must deal with motivation level. So I do that. Then second, my commitment is promotion of religious harmony. On that level, then I'm Buddhist. The first level, I'm talking just another human being. Different religious belief, or different nationality, different races, is not secondary. When we're born, just like a human being, just a human being. So promotion of religious harmony. In the philosophical field, even within Buddhist tradition, even within Nalanda tradition, there are different philosophical views. So a lot of argument through centuries. But all carry the practice of love, compassion, forgiveness. All major religious tradition. It's a practice level, all carry same practice. As a result of meeting more people, Christian brothers, sisters, and Islam brothers, sisters, and then Judaism, a follower of Judaism, follower of different Hinduism, practically all carry the same practice. So that's important. Philosophical view, different sort of philosophical view.
Yes.
Simply according different persons' sort of mental disposition. So different philosophical sort of way of thinking is necessary. So important is the real purpose of these different philosophy. And then same, try to bring good human being.
No.
Try to make good human being, sensible human being. So same goal. So on that level, I made my own sort of share of contribution, promoting religious harmony. And previously, the third sort of commitment, that's about Tibetan struggle. Now last year, I completely sort of handed over all that responsibility to elected political leader. So from that aspect, I'm quite free. So actually, the day I formally sort of handed over all the, almost to say, 4-century-old Tibetan tradition, the Dalai Lama institution alone automatically become head of both temporal and spirituality. Now that I voluntarily, happily, proudly ended. So I feel very happy. So that very night, I formally sort of handed over. That very night, very unusual sound sleep. So that's personal level, I gain something. So I'm a little bit sort of free, like that. So the two commitment, promotion of human value, promotion of religious harmony, till my death, I will carry. So wherever I go, on human level, I'm sort of talking to audience on human level about how to bring our life more peaceful, with more self-confidence. See, when you lead your life honestly, truthfully, then you can act transparently. Otherwise, you have to something hide, something kasota. Yeah, Hydra.
It's fine, it's fine.
Oh, so you cannot carry transparently. So automatically, these are very bad for trust. As a social animal, without trust, how can live happily? A friendship, social animal, we need genuine cooperation. In order to carry genuine cooperation, you need sense of community, sense of belonging.
Yes.
And for that, trust is key factor. So just opposite, just destroyer of trust is fear. So open heart is very, very helpful to build healthy family, healthy community. So now you see here, I was told mainly you see students, right?
No.
Or student from college also. You see some, particularly those young people. Usually, I describe those young people whose age below 30 or 20 or 15. Then this generation actually belongs to 21st century. My generation, here, some older brothers, sisters, I think we are generation of 20th century. So our century already gone. So the generation who belongs to that century now already say bye-bye. These generation who belongs to the 21st century. Now, 21st century, only 11 years passed. Because it's not 98 years.
No,
98 or 99
No.
Years yet to come. So this is beginning of the 21st century. So the generation, you, who also, may sort of experience the 20th century sort of, or violent century sort of experience. At least you get some fresh memory about 20th century sort of too much violence, too much destruction. So now you are the generation who really have the sort of responsibility to create, peaceful century. 20th century, marvelous century. Technology in many fields. We, humanity, really invented a lot of wonderful sort of things. At the same time, 20th century, according to some historian, over 200 million people killed through violence. Such immense violence really, make new shape of the world, then some justification about that immense violence. But that's not the case. Even beginning of this 21st century is some unhealthy, now including Afghanistan, or these problems, or Syria also. I think the symptom of our past negligence, past mistake. So therefore, now this century must be century of peace. Century of peace does not mean no longer any problem among humanity. Problem will be there, even increasing. So the only way is to deal with the problem, not through violence, not through use force, but through logic, through reason, on the basis of mutual respect.
Through dialogue.
Dialogue. So this century, I often used to telling, this century should be century of dialogue. So this generation, young generation, you should, realize your heavy responsibility to build happy humanity, happy century. You have the ability. So think more these lines. That usually I sort of appealing. then some occasion in America, also India, half joke. My generation may not see that sort of what's the positive result from your effort. But we have the opportunity to watch you from either heaven or hell. Watch, or the generation, of the 21st century generation, really carrying the proper sort of what's the constructive work or not. That we will see. So that my talk.